We're talking about writing for films. You talked to somebody once about the idea of communicating feelings through dialogue, and you said what you were trying to do was have each line doing more than one thing.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, here's a line that's only doing one thing. They'll never find you in this logging camp we've brought you to against your will. That the point of dialogue, and it's the place where, as a writer, you know, a lot of the time you're just dreaming up the scenes, and sort of really it feels as if you're following what's going on, and it's sort of somebody's whispering it to you. The way even what to say is being whispered to you by some other source. It's no accident that people believed in a muse for centuries that spoke through the writer, because that's how it feels. That time when you discover that you know something you had no notion that you knew about people and about life and experience. But when you're writing dialogue, you really have to be conscious. You have to stop, at least in revising, and look at it and make sure that every single line of it is necessary and that it's doing more than one thing, which is it's saying, it's having its dramatic moment, but it's also advancing character, it's giving forth exposition. There are ways to do it, you know. Look, I'm not harmful, I'm a guy, I'm 5'7" in my stocking feet, I don't keep pictures of famous people, I just want to talk for, and everything the guy is saying is also exposing who he is and giving exposition about his history and all the rest. And you learn how to make it count that way, you know, that you look at the line and say, okay, is this merely here because you think they might say something in the circumstance, or is it here because it's necessary? And if it is necessary, you got to make sure it's doing that. It's giving character, it's carrying forward the tension in the story, it's giving exposition, it's doing all those things that it's supposed to do. And and I think, you know, writing for the movies is so different than writing for, because it's the camera telling the story, and in fact, it's completely the opposite. The dialogue in a movie often is not supposed to really have anything to do with the story. Like those two characters, there's a man with his head blown off in the back seat, and they're talking about laundry and that Pulp Fiction.
And Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and everybody says, oh boy, that's really gritty, man, that's realistic dialogue. And maybe it is realistic dialogue, but let me tell you, reading it is the dullest, it's dull beyond the telling, trying to read that stuff. It is the camera telling it. So with the camera, it works, but without it, boy, you can feel the brain cells dying. You know, when I was going to do some screen work, I read a whole bunch of screenplays thinking I would, you know, pick up something from it. And what I picked up was that I don't want to write screenplays.